everyone, my name is Sarah McLean. I am an undergraduate researcher at the Mississippi State University Department of Chemistry in the Shui Lab group, and today I just wanted to give you some insight into organic chemistry in medicines and show you some really interesting, cool examples. So to start things off, let's first look at what organic chemistry really is. Organic chemistry is chemistry involving carbon compounds, and many of these hydrocarbon compounds are related to life, so the definition gets kind of blurred. Organic chemistry's first reported study began in the early 19th century. Since then, chemistry has been used in many areas such as petrochemicals, food, explosives, paint, cosmetics, lots of other areas, but today we're going to focus on pharmaceuticals and medicine. All medicines have some aspect of chemistry involved in making the drug. Pharmaceutical companies are especially interested in making new drugs and new routes to get to those drugs in a more cost-effective, safe, and effective manner in general. A great part of organic chemistry is that it allows pharmacists to find these new routes that otherwise couldn't be found using other types of chemistry. The graphic on the right shows the statistics found of nitrogen-containing heterocycles that were found in FDA-approved drugs. These are all organic and show how necessary organic chemistry is for medicine. I'd also like to point out that on the picture to the right, you can see that piperidine, pyridine, and piperazine are the top 3 nitrogen-containing heterocycles in these complexes, and they all sound very similar and they look very similar, but they all have their own qualities, and that's why, even though they do look that similar, each one is specific to each drug. So getting into the medicines, aspirin is actually one of the most commonly used medications today, and it utilizes a lot of organic chemistry. Acetylsalicylic acid, as it's formally called, is used to treat a wide variety of illnesses. This is one of the most common experiments in a teaching lab because it's one of the simpler syntheses, as shown on the bottom of the screen, that college students and chemists alike can repeat in labs and learn a lot about organic chemistry in general. However, not all drugs are as simple as aspirin. The thalidomide and enantiomers are 2 of the more complex examples I have today. Notice how in the middle of both of the molecules there is an R and an S symbol. This indicates that the 3D molecule is either coming out of the page, which is the R conformation, or going into the page, which is the S conformation on the bottom. The 2 can actually go back and forth within the R and S state conformations because of the H that is bonded on the R and the S carbon, where the bold or dash bond is. It is an acidic hydrogen found on the chiral carbon. That's the only difference in how one relieves morning sickness and one causes developmental malformations. This drug was actually first sold in Germany in the late 1950s and became quite the scandal because it caused around 5,000 newborn deaths. Since then, it's been modified and can be purified, and it actually can treat specific cancers now. Another really good example of how 2 tiny differences, the R and the S, called chirality changes everything, is in levofloxacin and ofloxacin. Levofloxacin is known as Levaquin. It's an antibiotic that can treat bacterial infections, like ofloxacin, but it also treats tuberculosis. Ofloxacin can treat certain forms of the plague, while also treating the bacterial infections. The only difference here is that the levofloxacin is the S enantiomer, meaning that the 3D molecule has the carbon shown at the bottom with 3 dashes going into the page, while the ofloxacin has both the R and the S. This is called a racemic mixture, and in lots of different drugs, these can turn out really bad for its users. Gearing more into what the Shui Lab group here focuses on is a organometallic drug. And it's one of the most effective drugs against cancer, and it's called cisplatin. Cisplatin contains a palladium center with 2 ammonia ligands and 2 chloride ligands. Platinum is the metal in the center, which, when combined with organic chemistry, is known as its own branch called organometallic chemistry. This new branch of organometallic chemistry is what the Shui Lab group studies, particularly drug synthesis and design, which is called medicinal chemistry, and catalyst. The ruthenium catalyst on the right is one of the many catalysts that have been produced in our lab. Metallic half-sandwich complexes are being researched as anti-cancer drugs, which leads to lots of research. This catalyst was made kind of like Legos or building blocks with lots of different organic routes. Structures like these start with very small carbon chains, and throughout the organic chemistry research, you can add however many you want onto the sides, called substrates, and with this, you can piece together whatever you want on the sides. So to wrap everything up, I just wanted to remind everyone, organic chemistry is just one of the branches of science that is involved in so many different fields. But without organic chemistry in medicine, consumers wouldn't have the safe and effective drugs that they have today. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learned something from this really short talk.